For today's short meditation, let us turn our pages to Genesis chapter 45, verses 1 to 8. Somebody can read it.
Joseph could no longer keep his composure in front of all his attendants, so he called out, "Send everyone away from me." No one was with him when he revealed his identity to his brothers. But he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and also Pharaoh's household heard it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But they could not answer him because they were terrified in his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near me." And they came near. "I am Joseph, your brother," he said, "the one you sold into Egypt. And now don't be worried or angry with yourselves for selling me here, because God sent me ahead of you to preserve life. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there will be 5 more years without plowing or harvesting. God sent me ahead of you to establish you as a remnant within the land and to keep you alive by a great deliverance. Therefore, it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household, and ruler over all the land of Egypt."
As we read this portion, we need to understand and we need to be reassured that God is so wise and powerful that absolutely nothing can cause His purpose to fail. In fact, He is able to take even those things meant for evil and make them work for good. Even in previous chapters, as we read in Genesis about Joseph, we see how Joseph's brothers hated him so much that they had to sell him to slavery. But in Egypt, we see how Joseph gained the favor of Pharaoh and who gave Joseph the high position in authority. During the famine, we see how his brothers came to him for food and not realizing that who he was. And when Joseph finally identified himself to them, Joseph said to them, "Do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life." And later he told them, he says, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring it about, as it is this day, to save many people alive," which is in Genesis 50 verse 20. Here we see how God can change a miserable life into a life that is being blessed not only to him but to others as well. And just to think about and just to understand Joseph's life both ways is quite exacting and encouraging also. From his life we need to realize that no matter what someone might do to harm us or to destroy us, the Lord is able to turn it into a benefit and for His glory. So we need to depend on God as Joseph did, and not to be discouraged by all the things that we are facing each and every day. And when we are discouraged because of some distressing circumstances and demanding challenges, we can rejoice in God's wisdom, power, and sovereignty. Because as we see in Romans chapter 8 verses 28, we see He is working all things for our good, for those who believe in Him and for those who trust in Him. Are we trusting in Him? Do we believe in Him? When we do that, no matter what we face, no matter what people may plan to do to us, it will always benefit not only to us but for others also, because His plan will always prosper. Rather to be discouraged and being laid down, let us rise up and trust in Him and believe in Him, and let us take our refuge in Him. And there is a quote which says, "He knows each winding way I take, and suits each sorrow, pain, and ache. When testings come, He's by my side, and through them all His hand will guide." Sometimes we need to understand that some step backs and some failures pave the way. They make the way for our comebacks, for our success. So let us, no matter what we go through, let us be thankful and let us rejoice in God's wisdom and in His power.